Yo, what is up, Tenno? This your boy Ren 1010, and today we're going to talk about how to mod primary weapons. It's very essential to understand how to mod your weapons so you can make them very powerful. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen my builds before, and they are very strong. I've showcased them. They shred through enemies pretty easy. So I want to show you guys the basic fundamentals to understand how to make your builds more efficient, more powerful, and just overall better. So let's go ahead and start off with a blank canvas. I'm going to pick a weapon. I probably had the Ignis with the Mirage. So I'm just going to start there, and we're just going to go over the basics. Okay, so, yep, like I thought, I got the Ignis Wraith. So let's go to a blank canvas. I'm not going to touch that build. I'm not going to touch it. Okay, so just to understand, first off is understanding polarities. So, for instance, you have a Materai, which is a V polarity, Vazarin, which is a D polarity, that's what we call it, and Neramon, which is the dash polarity. Now, how you want to mod these is depending on the base stats. So let's say, for instance, with this weapon, it is a decent status chance at 30%, which is really high. Anything 20 to 30 is pretty good for status. Same thing with crit chance, which is on this one, it's really low. So you don't want to build around it. So for this build, I want to focus on status since it's at 30%. So to start off with the next thing is you're going to have basic mods that you're going to primarily use for every build. For this one, since it is considered a rifle, even though it's a flamethrower, the basic mods that you're going to start off with is Serration and Split Chamber. So Split Chamber, and where's the other one? I probably passed it. Yeah, Serration. You get those two, they'll increase. You'll see it just increases the raw damage of the weapon. So the base damage is heat for the Ignis Wraith. So if I add it to this V polarity, and it'll let you know how much capacity you have. So once you add a capacity, which is like an Orokin, a Catalyst, which will give you an additional 30 slot space. Once you add it to it, it'll light up green and let you know that you matched up the right polarity with the right polarity. So it just went from 30 to 66.2. Multi-shot allows you to expand that damage. So I'm going to add it to this polarity. And it added an additional damage. Went up to 125.8. So then it goes into if it's an accurate weapon. If it's an accurate weapon like this one, where it says 100 accuracy, then you can add mods like, where is it? Heavy Caliber. Because Heavy Caliber increases your damage, but it drops your accuracy significantly. So I'm going to add that on here, and it drops it down, which is fine. But my damage output went up. So with this weapon, I like to use it against Corpus enemies since it is fire-based and they're flesh. Makes sense, but Blast is very effective against them. So, for instance, you want to add elemental mods because it's a very high status-based weapon, which allows you to add procs to the enemies, which makes them more susceptible to damage. So if you add something like cryo rounds, I have the prime version, but you can use the regular one. It'll still do the same, just not as much as damage output. But now you see I combined fire with this heat proc with cold, which automatically creates blast. And there's other combinations like, let's see, electricity creates electricity, and toxin creates corrosive, which is really good against Grenier. Where is the other mod? High voltage, there it is. See, now you see corrosive on there. So the next other one is this, and fire, which will create radiation, which is good against corrupted enemies. And then you also have magnetic damage, which is ice and electric. And then you have viral, which is toxin and cold. And there's probably another one in there, but I'm not thinking about it. But that's the basics. As far as you want a mod with serration, split chamber. Those are the basics. If it's a weapon that's accurate, you can use this. If it's not accurate, don't do it. Do not do it. So then let's go ahead and talk about a weapon that has a high crit multiplier, like the Dread. Let's go to the Dread. Okay. So like the Dread, it's a high crit chance weapon, and you can add a multiplier. Multiplier pretty much means it multiplies the amount of damage that it deals. So you can, let's say your damage is 6, just give an example, and it has a 3 times multiplier. It'll do obviously 18 instead of 6. Just to give a small example of what it does. The crit chance is just based off the percentage. You have a higher percentage of critting. So pretty much per bullet or per arrow, whatever it is, the crit chance of it doing like red, orange, purple is based off of the crit chance. Mine's just at 200% because I have a ribbon mod, which added an additional 151. And then I have an extra additional base damage of 166. But once again, you see how this weapon is a very accurate weapon. But I wanted to focus on crit chance because its base is very high. Like, I don't even know what is its base. It's like 30+% crit chance. So whatever the base is, whatever its high base is, that's what you want to build around. So let me go back actually. So like with this build, it's a slash base weapon. That's why it has 3,247% slash base damage or additional that I added. And I added Hunter Munitions because it's a 30% chance to apply slash status to an already slash based weapon. See, I even have Fanged Fusillade for extra slash. The only things that I have issues with the gun or the bow was that the fact that it had a slow speed rate to pull back the bow and fire. So I increased it to make it a little bit faster. So if you see something that you don't like if the ammo is very low, you run out really quick, you can add ammo mods to enhance that weapon. So basically, whatever its strengths are, build on it. Whatever its weaknesses are, add to that to improve the weapon. But the last one is understanding shotguns. Let's see. What's a good shotgun? Let's go with the Tiger's Prime since it's the best, probably the best shotgun in the game. So again, with the shotguns, it has its own base mod damage like serration, but this one is point blank. But I got the prime version for the additional base damage. So with this weapon, it's already has a huge spread, which I don't mind because it's a shotgun. So I did add vicious spread for just the additional damage, because I already know it. Whatever it hits, it's going to hit because it's close range. Anyways, you're going to play this style of weapon up close, so I don't really have to worry about the accuracy too much. And it is a very high status based weapon. That's why I was able to add 3 dual status mods. So with the dual status mods, like for instance, shell shock, 60% electricity, so it'll do electricity damage. 60% status means that's the status chance of it proccing the enemy. You have a 60% chance of additional chance. So if it's like 15% status base on the weapon, it acts an additional 60% status chance. So that's why it's able to go from like 15 to 30 when you add a mod, and then another additional dual stat mod, it'll go up to 45 or 60, whatever. So with these 3, I was able to create 98.2% status. So with these 2 weapons, I'm building it because in-game content is usually, or the Orokin, what is it called? The Void. There we go. The Void. Their enemies are high armored enemies. So you want to use corrosive because it just shreds them. It strips their armor. Their health bar will go from yellow to red. That's why you'll see me using Ash, because he has a Seeking Shuriken that can completely strip their armor. And you want to, usually with those type of enemies, you want to use corrosive and fire, because fire just immediately, once the damage is done from the corrosive, the fire just eats right through. And this weapon also has like multi-shot. With the rifle, it was split chamber. For shotguns, it's Hell's Chamber. And once again, I based it off of its high slash, 21,000. So that's with all the mods that I added, with sweeping, serration, 120% slash, and then hunter munitions, which is a great mod. I highly suggest you get it. So as far as basic mods go, you want to get prime point, or not prime point blank, you don't have to, but get this mod and get Hell's Chamber, and then make sure you get the all of the status mods, because you never know when you're going to use them. That's just the basic. And then you want to also ensure that you get crit chance, the blunderous, and the other one, I forgot his point something. I'll have to check, but it's another crit chance mod that you must have, and they're both very common. As well as you want the crit multiplier for shotguns, it's Ravage. So you can get primed Ravage or Ravage, either one. And for rifles, it's Vital Sense, which will increase the multiplier. So like, once again, if you do 6 damage and it's multiplied by 3, it'll do 18. Just to kind of give you an idea. But there's other mods that you want to add. Like if it's a high crit chance weapon, if you want to add this mod on here, Shrapnel Shot, if you aim for 9 seconds, it'll increase your crit damage. So you can add that 2 and 2 with your crit chance if it's a high crit chance weapon. It's all based off the base damage. So if you got a good base damage, I mean, you're straight, but you have to follow the guidelines of the basic mods. But hey guys, I appreciate you for watching the video. Make sure you like and subscribe. I also am on Instagram, so I primarily post any type of builds, seeing as I find it kind of useless to constantly post builds if everybody else is doing it. It's just not my thing. I want to kind of just teach you guys how to play the game. But yeah, go ahead and like, subscribe, share with your friends. Follow me on Instagram. Like I said, that's where I primarily post. And this your boy Ren 1010. Part 2 for the secondary and part 3 for the melee is coming. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.